Here we are. Welcome to Shitcoin Radio, Epic version, episode 69. Nice. We got batsoupyum, an OG, good friend of ours, so it should be a fun episode. OSF, do you want to get into the sponsorship? I can't hear you. Can you hear him?
I can't hear him.
Classic.
It's going to be a good show,
Well,
guys.
this show is sponsored by Rollbit. They have trading, they have casino, they have fun games, and yeah, they've been with us for a while. So we don't have OSF. I don't know the codes. Do you, Mando?
No.
Oh, okay, perfect. Some technical difficulties apparently. Let's see. Code. Pump it. I think it's just pump it. The code.
Just pump it. Love it.
Yeah, perfect.
Surely you mentioned the duck and the codes, Robert. Come on.
They did. It's the next code actually. Somebody could actually figure that out if you have a brain. Yeah, the next code is epic something.
That's a trade code.
But yeah, I mean it's not an epic duck show, and we don't want to turn it into that. But
hey, right?
Yeah, we have you now.
Let's hold up. So, my
this is a shit show already.
Right, the codes. First code is NFT Crazy 921. NFT Crazy 921 is the first code. Show is sponsored by Rollbit. My mic is back on.
I thought it was Epic Duck.
No, it was not Epic Duck. Okay. All right. Welcome back to episode 69 of Rekt Radio. This is probably one of the better starts we've had, believe it or not. So.
I could not think of a more appropriate start for an episode 69 that I am actually on. So I appreciate the intro. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was a nice, smooth intro for a nice, smooth guest. That's how we like to run it on the show. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. You guys are like three of my favorite people in the space, and honored to be here. I just, to be honest, I never would have done this had it not been episode 69. So the timing is perfect.
There.
I think I asked you about this about 3 months ago, and I was like, I think we needed a guest that week. And I said, I can get Bats. We all know Bats really well. And Bats like, yeah, I can do it in like 3 months.
Yeah.
I was like,
what was that? You give us like a 3-month time frame. Right?
Well, the thing is, it's like I did a bunch of these at the end of the year, the beginning of the year, end of last year, and beginning of the year, and it's like I just don't have that much. I generally don't have that much interesting shit to say in general, and I definitely don't have that much interesting shit to say week to week. So I try to put a little space between these, and I figured like after NFT NYC, maybe there'd be something semi-interesting to say, but I'm not. Nothing's coming to mind right now, so you can bore your guests by rugging.
What do you mean? That's such a lie, Bats. That's such a goddamn lie. You're like,
well, we'll see. Let's do an evaluation after an
OG
hour.
NFT, like early X copy, early like every big artist, a great eye. You have a ton to talk about. I mean, is there any art that you're buying lately? I mean, is that dead? What happened there?
Yeah, I bought, let's see. I mean, I'm like I feel like I'm one of like 3 boomers left buying art right now. Everybody's focused on meme coins, but yeah, I got a piece from Cowboy Killer the other day. That was awesome. I got a Miss Al Simpson, Mind Mechanic. Yeah, I bought a few things lately. It's like that Guido edition, the AI thing that he did. My general thing is I kind of try to zig when others are zagging, and I'm not.
Yeah, there's no competition in those streets right now, is there?
Oh, none, zero. Like, I mean, you would think like, back in the good old days, you put on a piece that like, you guys would come in and rug me, then I'd rug you, and be like this crazy bidding war. Now there's just like, it's like tumbleweeds in the streets.
$400K for a fucking Ness once. So yeah, it was even worse.
Yeah, good times, right? Good times.
X copy's been right? The last
few
days, X copy's been going crazy the last few days. It feels like everything's been
man. I mean, I don't want to like get too far into the weeds here, but like X copy, like that was my number one thing coming out of NFT NYC. It's like there's stuff going on with X copy that the public doesn't even know about. Like, I mean, there's like
what is it?
Whales all over the place. Oh, I mean, you wouldn't believe like every new entrant that has money into the space is trying to get a Grail X copy. It's freaking unbelievable. I can see why these editions are going off because there's more going on under the surface than I think people realize. It is crazy what's happening in that market. Deservedly so, in my opinion.
Yeah, like I think one sold for nearly $2 million a couple of days ago, right? Or
Wait, for real?
yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
Cosimo posted about it. Yeah, that was a good one.
Older one or
1.9. I think just a good one rather
I
than
think
an
it was a
older one.
2018. It's a 2018 piece, right? I think.
2018.
Yeah, it's a
Okay, sure.
2018. Yeah, it was a good one. It's a really good one. It's a character piece, but there's been others. I mean, there's been that's not the only one that's sold recently in one of one. So yeah, it's amazing to watch. It's just suddenly, it just popped out of nowhere and went nuts. So it's good to see. Hopefully, it's like
Yeah,
a harbinger for other art sales.
yeah, I mean he's like the GOAT for sure. You can recognize one instantly, like digitally
Yeah,
native. I mean, it's just
yeah, he and
really good
people as
stuff.
well. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think what's changed though is that it's now just very similar to like the traditional art market where just a few artists are selling at really high levels and like the middle tier is still having difficulties, right?
Yeah, it's I think a couple things are happening. There's like we have this meme coin mania going on right now, and
Epic.
in Web3, the rule of Web3 when things like this happen is that the bright shiny object gathers all the attention and prices on everything else goes down. It's just so they just somebody asked me about ETH PFPs the other day. Oh, are they going to go higher? Look, it's hard for anything to go higher right now with meme coin mania going on. So, like, I think once that settles down, you probably get some trickle down effects into other things. But I think what you're seeing with Xcopy is potentially the beginning of a bit of trickle down into other art because there's only so many of these grails to go around, and once they get locked up, it's like these people that are in the space to buy art, they're not just going to give up, right? Their next stop is probably going to be like Beeple or Claire Silver or Die with the Most Likes, or there's like all kinds of artists that Sam Spratt, Joe Peace. It's like there's a lot of artists out there, other art out there, and I think some of that's going to end up. Some of this sort of X-copy mania, it might be a little bit like CryptoPunks when you go on a run with CryptoPunks, and then about 2 weeks later, everything else rallies. I think maybe we're seeing that. I mean, who the hell knows? But I think we might be seeing some of that going on right now.
Yeah, I mean the mid tier stuff, lower tier stuff was just like overpriced for a while. Maybe it's like pricing correctly now. Xcopy is just obviously goated the grail. I wish I didn't sell mine, but that's a story for another time. Do you
I think
guys
these
have one?
players
Canary
need
Labs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Can I buy it back?
Crunch. Yeah, I was looking at it yesterday. It's a really good one.
I
Thank you for
really
that.
love that one, to be honest. I love that one. I'll buy it back at
Love
cost,
that.
okay?
We'll talk offline, but the price is a little higher. How's that?
Throw in
yeah.
an MBSJQ. Just throw it in.
Oh God, MSGQ. That's how we all met, or me and OSF at least.
Yeah, I bought his AI piece recently too. I think I love him. I think he's great. He's super into his daughter, who's like could not be cuter. Like one of the nicer people in the space.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. I think just OSF and I bid it up a little too high in the beginning against each other, and then he rugged me too on the one. Well,
Ooh,
yeah,
I like
don't
that.
know. Not gonna tell the story anyway.
Yeah, that 2021 period and early 22. Like we're not going back to that. That was just wow. We can finally spend our ETH, and boy did we. Like we that was a fun and interesting period.
Yeah,
I highly doubt we'll ever see that anytime soon.
that's the
But
interesting thing here with
yeah,
this high-end art pricing in ETH or dollars. How do you feel about that?
so everything I say on this podcast or Spaces should be my views only and not the group I work with, which is 6529. So like he's on one side of this, I think, and I'm on a little bit more of the other side. I think USD is going to become more and more prominent over time, and I'm going to get all kinds of hate mail for this. And I know 1 ETH equals 1 ETH, and there's all that, but I don't buy it. I think what you're seeing in CryptoPunks right now is some USD normalization. If ETH goes, take the extreme example, if ETH goes to 100,000 per ETH, like CryptoPunks aren't going to be trading at 40 ETH, right? I mean, it's ridiculous to think that. So I think USD creeps in slowly, but I don't think USD ever was going to be 100% of like the explanatory variable for pricing. I think it's going to always be a combination of ETH and USD, but I do think we probably are getting closer to USD now than ever before. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think so too. It's hard, it's hard for like people to, especially if you're an artist and you're just trying to like get stuff out there, and manage your cash flow, manage your income, and you just have this fucking volatile currency every time you like need to use it for as much as even just minting a piece. It just doesn't feel very sustainable. But it's almost like the market implicitly prices these things in USD terms anyway. Like if you look at, I don't know, like generative art and fidenzas and autoglyphs and all that stuff, like every time ETH's higher, they get priced lower. They get priced in dollar terms. So it feels like implicitly the market does that anyway. But yeah, it just seems weird that ETH is like the predominant currency in which all this stuff is traded in right now.
I mean, I'd have to agree. You can't price an ETH. That's just ridiculous. The volatility, if it goes up to 10K even, I mean, you can't do that. It's just not real.
What do you think of all, like, cause you said that the market's like moved away from all that stuff, and obviously this cycle, it feels like Ordinals, it feels like Solana, it feels like meme coins are like the main things which are grabbing attention. I know you're like I would say more of a longer term mind with this sort of investment. Do you think any of the stuff that you see, which is hot right now, you think is going to last? I think a lot of like more ETH maxi styles feel like, they're in the long-term asset that will always be there. Do you see value in any of the new stuff?
Yeah, I do. I think Ordinals are the most interesting thing going on in NFTs right now. I think that is a fascinating ecosystem. It is, look, I mean, it's the most secure OG chain out there. And you can, I mean, I don't think this is appreciated by a lot of people. Your artwork is on chain, right? Whatever you buy in NFTs is on chain. Unlike a lot of ETH work, I mean, there's certainly some exceptions like Rip Cash and some of these other OG, sort of like chain maxi artists. But, Elon Musk's number one criticism of NFTs was none of the artwork's on chain. Well, not only are Ordinals on chain, they are also on the best chain, on the most well-known chain, on the biggest chain by market cap. So I think Ordinals are absolutely like here to stay. And I'm really interested to see how that ecosystem develops, because I'm shocked at the number of developers building on Ordinals. I mean, Ordinals are kind of right now a shittier version of ETH NFTs, to be honest, right? I mean, trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, programmability on Ordinals, but I think all that's about to change. I think they're gonna that community is unbelievable. On meme coins, there's going to always be meme coins here. Always. There's no scenario I can see. Yeah, I mean, everything it seems like with meme coins. I mean, look at Base or Solana, or like these chains are taking off because of speculation of meme coins. It's awesome to watch, actually. I love it. It's like a catalyst for innovation. Now, that being said, I mean, OSF, I told you this in New York, I'm short a shit ton of meme coins. Like, I mean, my general view on meme, yeah, absolutely. Like, my general view on meme coins, and I own a few too, so, don't send me a bunch of death threats and hate mail.
What are you short?
But my general view, we'll get into that. I don't know. Depends on my level of like how many death threats I feel like
with Boom, Pepe. There's only so many you can short.
He's short.
No, so here's my sort of mental like model on meme coins, which everybody can disagree with if they want. I think like 10 of these, 20 of these are going to make it huge. And by huge, I mean, look at like Doge is at $27 billion market cap. Like there's a bunch of these that I think are going to be in the $10 to $20 billion range. Not in by a bunch, I mean like probably 10 to 20. The rest of them are going to zero. Like they just there's not enough attention, there's not enough community, there's not enough and you're seeing that happen right now. And I'm not going to name them, but if you just have to watch, like if you just pick out like the top 100 meme coins of the last month, a ton of them are down huge from their all-time highs. And I think they're all going to just continue grinding lower because I see very little community around them. The ones that are like in that mid tier, like in that $2 to $4 billion tier, I would never short those. Never. There's no way, because I just think those have a chance at catapulting into the pantheon, so to speak. And they're probably longs, to be honest. Like when we come back, I mean, we're in a weird period right now where I think things are calming down, but those are probably the candidates to be long. So I'm not like,
so I'm definitely think it's like an escape velocity type thing once they get to a certain level.
Yes, I do. I think there's massive power laws in meme coins, massive, like bigger than NFTs, possibly. Maybe the biggest power laws in Web3. And I think that you get your, Stan Druckenmiller has this great quote. He's like, I'm not putting out campfires with my face. And that's how I feel about some of these meme coins. Like, I'm not going to fight markets on some of these meme coins, because I actually think quite a few of them have a chance to just go parabolic, even from here.
Yeah,
How do you judge which ones you think are the ones to short? I know you mentioned market cap already, and the stuff in like the 2 to 4 range could maybe go a lot higher. But
is that a short? Probably.
Yeah, and how do you get like the liquidity to short, and like all that?
Yeah, you have to use perps. So you have to use perpetual futures to do it. It's impossible otherwise. So, like Binance does it, but there's a ton of dexes out there. Not a ton, but there's a bunch of dexes out there that have perp markets on a lot of these.
What's your leverage ratio on these when you're shorting?
I don't use a ton of leverage at all. Like that's, to me, that's a good way to just lose all your money. And by the way, for the audience, like, you guys should not short. Like, shorting is a fool's game. I mean, it's like you're capped at 100% returns. It's like the markets are against you. You'll get death threats in your friggin' timeline, and people will hate on you. I'm just saying, as someone who has shorted like my entire career and done like okay with it, like if I'm going to put a mental model behind meme coins, this is it. Like, I don't have intrinsic value or cash flow to fall back on, like all that stuff people call boomer, right? So to me, this is the way to think about it. Short the ones that are like in answer to your question, OSF, I think that $500 million to $2 billion market cap range is a good candidate is a good area to look for candidates on the short side, because they're not quite there, and you could argue that they're overvalued. And then the way I think about it is like, what's the community up to? So you have to really kind of dig into like who's talking about it. And, frankly, you could probably, if you were like Jim Simons at Renaissance, one of the most famous quantitative hedge fund traders of all time, you could probably set up a bot that just basically tracks like mentions of certain meme coins on Twitter or these Discord groups. And when things start slowing down, it's never a good sign. And I'll tell you what the worst sign of all is: when somebody meme coin starts out promising nothing, and then all of a sudden, quote unquote, utility starts coming along, like instant short, like just run for the hills. Like, utility is the worst possible outcome for a meme coin in that like $500 million to $2 billion range, in my view.
What do you think? Shib did that. Shib did that, right? Like, what I was thinking about this the other day is that, like, I think meme coins are an asset class which are now to me, they seem like a better risk reward than even a lot of the altcoin market over like a longer term period. The top ones, at least. But if you are on a chain, like, you're kind of tied to that chain. So like Shib, which isn't really, I mean, I don't even know anyone who owns Shib, but it's been around for a long time, and it made itself into a chain. It kind of added like DeFi utility, and now it's kind of just hanging out there at the top. Like, do you not think that these ones, when they become like, can we imagine Whiff or Pepe eventually becoming their own chain and then trying to do the DeFi thing to kind of stay more relevant over the long term? Doge is its own chain, right?
Yeah, I mean, how do you keep the eyeballs at some point? I guess.
That's the great. I mean, that's a great question. I actually don't know the answer to that. It just sort of happens in these communities. I mean, I really think like if Whiff, for example, didn't do utility, I think that one of the interesting things that meme coins could do, is backward integrate into NFTs. So you go from the fungible to the non-fungible. Like, if Whiff did a 10,000 PFP drop, they would kill it. Like, that would go, it would go insane. Like, people, and then you would have.
How do you do that though? When there's like, how many holders is there for Whiff? It must be a shit ton.
120,000 holders now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to get the same sort of group that organized. They're putting the dog with hat on the Vegas dome there. I don't know if they did yet, but
are they doing that?
You'd have to get some sort of organizing, momentum behind it. But I just think like there's ways to do this that are like fun and interesting. I mean, I would never short Whiff, by the way. I actually think that's probably one of the, and I'm not long it either, and I'm not recommending it, but that's probably one of the candidates for like, rip your face off type rally here once we come out of this slower
it's just too
period.
Strong. For sure.
Yeah.
What do you think is
just crazy?
What do you think is causing this slower period, by the way? Like, we're at a point where maybe there's been some ETF outflows, but it's not been crazy, and funding is like materially lower than it has been for much of this year.
I mean,
like,
can I step in? We went up in a fucking straight line, so everything should chill. No.
I mean, that's part of it, right? But the other part of it is we're kind of like, I've seen a lot of these left curve type periods. You know, I think the last one before this was the Ben.eth and Poly, when, you know, people were just sending money.
Yeah.
And then you saw like 2 weeks ago, you know, like the peak was definitely, I thought, and I was thinking this at the time, like $40 million to Machi Big Brother. Like I have no opinion of Machi Big Brother. It, you know, whatever you think of him, that's fine. But people gave this guy $40 million. Like
Ovi gave him 50 grand.
That's hilarious, OSF.
Hey, gambler's a gambler. What can I say?
Can I pivot real quick back to Ordinals? What about the file size for that? Is real art on there yet, or is it just kind of like puppets? Which I fucking like.
Yeah. So I bought a Ryan Koopman's on there the other day that was like transforms over time, and they have this. And this is stretching the boundaries of my technical expertise, but they have new you know, things on there called recursions, where you can add multiple file sizes and then it recombines them whenever you pull it up and things like that. Like, they are making real progress on the file size thing. Now the cost is a real issue. Like, it's definitely gone through the roof. So like, you wouldn't do, and I never thought this was a good use case for Ordinals anyway. Like, you wouldn't do a 10,000 PFP drop on Ordinals. I just don't think that's the purpose of
Isn't that puppets?
the Ordinal chain. Yeah, I mean, people did it back when it was cheap, but right now to do that, it would be very cost prohibitive. Like, you would just be better off doing it on Solana or Blur. Or Blast or
yeah. If you had to pick a chain to drop an NFT, where are we doing it?
I would do
like a profile picture.
I'm going to get a bunch of like Solana maxis like hating on me. I am a decentralization kind of maxi, and I have this belief. You know, all the L2s right now are still centralized, but a lot of them have roadmaps to decentralize. And I am sort of like EVM compatible type of thinking, and so I like the L2s a bit more than I like Solana, but I really like Solana as well. So if I did, I would do it on one of those two because the cost is really low.
And do those trades? Buy Solana, Mando.
I think Ovi's doing the trades today.
Well, share the screen and let's get it hyped.
Do we not do them at the end?
No, you're doing during the show.
Oh shit! Sorry. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, like it's if we get liquidated or not.
Dude, has it taken you 69 shows to figure this out?
No, this is a new.
It's a new thing.
Oh, so. Okay. I see. Okay, I'll stop giving you.
So, Bats, do you even know the context of like what happened last week? Like I accidentally created a coin on this show. Did you hear about this or no?
I did hear about it because OSF told me about it at NFT NYC, and it was unclear if he was happy about this or not.
He wasn't. Confused.
He definitely wasn't happy. But it's now, we're now building around it. Solana. Are you on Solana? Are you involved in anything in the low cap meme coin space?
I am. Yeah. I am involved in some of these meme coins. Some of them are given to me.
You own Epic Duck?
I do not own Epic Duck.
Wow.
I have no view on Epic Duck. I have actually. There have been so many duck questions in.
I'm not short Epic Duck.
Wow.
I don't know. Somebody at NFT, I won't expose them. Somebody at NFT NYC was telling me about cat with tits, and I thought, boy, this is like.
Are you fucking joking? Cat with tits.
When it was pitched to me, I felt like, this is probably. I feel very good with my short position right now.
Wow. Yeah.
All right. So what trades are we putting on here?
I mean, some high volatility ones.
What should we do a short shitcoin trade in Bats' honor?
Yeah, short Bohm.
Is Bohm on here?
No, don't short Bohm. Bohm is like Bohm's actually got a real artist behind.
It's only 40 minutes.
That I really like.
It's only 40 minutes, Bat.
Well, for the record, I like Bohm and I like Dark Farms.
Okay, out of respect for Dark Farms, we will go long Bohm instead. How about that?
Did you get in the pre-sale? That was a good one.
I did not. No, I missed. I'm such a boomer. Like, I missed all this shit on pre-sale. Like, I'm like, huh. Meanwhile, like Barad and some of the folks I work with are just like making generational wealth on this stuff, and I'm over here buying art still.
So, what leverage should I start using here?
I think we do $2,000 a trade, and then just do max leverage at $2,000.
So that's 99.
Let's go roller coaster.
50.
So much more fun.
All right.
Anyway.
Got it?
You think Super Rare will ever like have shareable files to post on Twitter, or is that never happening? Like, I want to share some art, and it's like not possible.
So they do have to their credit, they have an IPFS link now that you can click on, and it's much easier to at least save the files to be shared. So,
do you have any on display like in your homes, NFTs?
I do.
Like
I don't have.
I have two of them. I don't have and they're just blank screens.
So I have a screen. I got it from clickcreate.io. This is the project that Clutch and NorCal run, which is fabulous. It's like a big artist-forward, artist-centric project. They do like a couple drops a week. It's a really cool project. And they gave away free screens. And I got the screen, and it's sitting here. I still don't know how to get it going because the software needs to be loaded on it. And
I've tried so many times with fucking both screens. It's just not possible.
It looks like an awesome screen though. But I have a lot of physicals. Like an artist, like, I'm one of those probably rare people that are like, yeah, I would love to get the physical with it. So like right now I'm looking at 2 Rip Caches. I have a Pinder Van Armen. I have a Luciana Guerra. I have Railer's Dam. I have a Beeple in here. Yeah, so I've got quite a bit of art just where I'm at right now. So,
what do you view yourself now in the space, as an art collector, or as like a degenerate, or just a like trader, or enjoyer?
Yes. So, it's probably more art collector than anything else, but like there's no possible way to be a participant in this space I've been here since late 2020. Like all of it's fun. I mean, I just think the most underappreciated aspect, and I wrote about this the other day on Twitter, like how do you value fun? Like, we have this change of mindset coming out of COVID where people were just like, fuck this job, take this job and shove it type thing. And I'm working from home, and kind of gave power back to the people. And that mindset is really amplified here, I think, which is just like, we don't care what like,
is it fun, or is it like a dystopian gamble your future and that's the only way out? Or both?
I think it's probably both a little bit. I think it's a little both, but the fun is always going to be here, right? I mean, the fun is like, so in answer to your question, I'm not averse to fun. I'm trading shitcoins. I'm trading, I have editions of art that I trade. I sold 2 Coldy pieces 2 weeks ago, so I'm not averse to selling.
You
things.
sold those?
I did, yeah. I sold 2 Coldy pieces to One Confirmation, who were like a really great firm. They own, the #1 token on Super Rare, which is Robbie Barrett's first ever generated, GAN piece, which is probably one of the most historic pieces out there.
I wanted to sell my Coldy because those prices were fucking good.
Yeah, he deserves that. I mean, he deserves, I've been like one of the only buyers of Coldy 1-of-1s for the last 2 years, and I was really happy to sell a couple of ones. I still own 8 Coldy 1-of-1s. So
his physicals are fire.
He's a great artist. I love him. But yeah, so it was time to let a couple go. What's that?
Do you buy trad art, like any?
No. I'm just not. I've looked at it. I've read a bunch of books, and it's like I just like whatever's going on in trad art is fucking disgusting to me. I just don't have any interest. Like what we're doing here is trying to disintermediate those folks. Like,
what do you think? Just bought this.
What is this? Is this a David Hockney?
Trad art. Anyway.
Wow.
Okay, boomer.
How much did you pay for that?
That was 40,000 pounds.
Bats, he's just lining you up for the next time he gets like liquidated, and he's like, "Hey man, I've got some art I can sell you."
Yeah, I expect him to be in my DMs in about 2 weeks.
I'm a trad art guy.
Yeah, we all. Yeah, is that what you tell yourself at night?
No, it's a good place to put money, and it's a liquid, so I can't, sell it and get trapped in it. It's perfect.
So what do you think?
This liquid stuff saves you. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
What do you think for this cycle then, Bats? Like, what are your big predictions? This is how many cycles have you done, and how do you think this is going to go?
So, this is all like total, crystal ball type shit that nobody should trade on whatsoever. It's like very, sort of up in the air. I think that my general view is that like we are at a moment. I don't know if you guys have read it, but if anybody hasn't read it yet, they should. It's Read Write Own by Chris Dixon is like a fabulous book. I just finished it a couple weeks ago, and I think the point he makes in that book, which I completely agree with, is like Bitcoin and some of these crypto. You could argue Solana, you could argue ETH, you could argue you can make arguments for a lot of them, but definitely Bitcoin. It feels like one of those moments right now where when you're like, oh, 20 years from now, if you had bought Amazon at $2, you'd be worth 10 billion bajillion dollars right now. And and everybody's like, oh, I should have bought Amazon at $2. And it kind of feels that way right now with Bitcoin, to be honest, and maybe Ethereum and Solana as well. Like we are on the verge. I mean, we're only like 20 years old, the whole industry, right? I mean, it's not that old. And it's like just now starting to gain acceptance. Yeah. It's so low. And it's like in the NFT space, I think you can even make a stronger argument if you can pick the right ones. But to me, and this is where I think patience runs into dopamine. To me, I think every person in crypto should own a bag of Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, and leave it the fuck alone. Don't touch it. And I know that's a problem around here because we traffic in dopamine. And take 20% of your portfolio and trade shitcoins all you want till your heart's content. Plan on losing it all, but trade them and get it out of your system. But don't be in crypto and not own some of the OGs, because this is if crypto makes it, those are going to make it massively. And the shitcoins, you're just going to have a ton of zeros, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, 10 years from now, I should have just owned Bitcoin. Don't be that person. Everybody should own a little bag of Bitcoin and some of the other OGs, and then trade all the shitcoins you want, but don't miss out. That's how I feel. It kind of
brings me back to the Suzu tweet. Yeah. Don't let the bankers steal your coins in that bear market spot. Ironically, he did get all his coins stolen. Got a lot of mine stolen too, but yeah, eventually you get priced out, and you're kind of seeing that already with Bitcoin.
Yeah, I don't, this is, again, probably I don't want to give investment advice, but it's not too late. We just got a Bitcoin ETF. We are just seeing an ecosystem being built on the top of Bitcoin. We are just on seeing Solana emerge as one of the high TPS, low cost gods out there, or chains. So, I look at this stuff and I'm like, it's so cliche to say we're so early, but I also look at it and say, God, we are so early. And you just have to leave it alone.
Do you feel that way even with the stock market, the way it's, rallied off AI essentially? Obviously risky assets are tied together. So if that pulls back, does crypto pull back?
I have a hard time seeing how risk assets in the stock market don't somehow carry over to crypto eventually. But it's happened. I think crypto's just got a a bull market somewhere at all times. You could have the stock market pull back 50% on I don't know, nuclear warfare happening somewhere around the world. And somewhere in the basement of some degens house, they're going to be buying SHIB. I just think nobody people in crypto don't give a shit. So there's going to be a bull market somewhere in crypto, it seems like, at all times. But my view is that if we get a huge correction in the stock market, I just think Bitcoin has this constant tension right now where it's either a risk asset or a store of value and a hedge against inflation. And it seems like it's gotten better over time as a store of value and a hedge against inflation. But we have a lot of people who own Bitcoin ETF who view it as the riskiest thing they own in their portfolio. And if you get a pullback in risk assets in the stock market, guess what's going to be the first thing that gets sold? It's going to be Bitcoin. Yeah. And guess what else? Everything in crypto follows Bitcoin right now. The correlations, I've looked at the correlations 2 weeks ago. They're super, super high. So, be careful. I think,
Bitcoin's fucking strong, man. It is definitely really strong. I mean, it's basically a low float asset, realistically.
Yeah.
And so
have you seen what's going on in gold?
I
have. You can't ignore what's going on in gold as well. So
it's pretty parabolic for gold, for sure.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, what, you got a couple gold bars or what?
No, my gold bars are Bitcoin. See, that's the thing. We're like at this generational divide where like a lot of boomers go to Costco and buy gold bars, and everyone else on this call it says, I don't want to own gold bars. I want to
Dude,
own
have you
Bitcoin,
not seen this?
I got a couple. I got a couple bars.
Costco is selling $200 million of gold a month at the moment.
What the fuck?
Yes.
Costco. That's weird.
I saw that in your minutes today. By the way, I read your
Yeah.
minutes, Mando, religiously. That's one of the best dailies I get.
Yeah, it is. It is really good.
How wild is that? Like, it's the same in China as well. Like, all this retail buying of gold is just
Why?
It's just insane. Because people just don't believe in fiat currencies. It's another play on it. It's just debasement. They just see it coming.
It's a weird ass play. They're paying like a massive fucking fee to do that for sure.
They're definitely buying.
Yeah, I don't know why you just wouldn't buy buy Bitcoin. Like, why would you want to store gold anywhere? Like, I think it's dangerous.
I think it's
to
just
have
like
around.
a generational divide, like you said, and most people aren't very smart.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to bet on the younger generation than I am the older generation because I know who's going to be around in 20 years.
Exactly.
So where do you think, Bats, we are in this cycle at the moment? Like, I see that's a question that's asked a lot on Twitter, and everyone's like, "Oh, we're middle towards the end or whatever." Like, do you think we've seen like the retail influx we've been hoping for, or maybe we won't see what we saw last cycle? And where do you think we are in terms of the stage of it?
So I think it's it all depends on like your time frame. So we'll start there. Like on a 10-year time frame, we're unbelievably early. On a 10-week time frame, it's a little weirder. So I'll just take like two major asset classes. Like digital art, I think we're super early. Like I just, again, I don't think we're going to go back to see 2021 prices anymore. But like NFTs, I think in general, I think there's so much to be done there. Like ticketing and finding your true fans and brands like Nike getting involved. Like it seems to me like intangibles on chain, digital objects on chain has a lot of really interesting use cases, and we only scratch the surface. On a near-term basis, look, I mean, everybody's attention is on meme coins right now, so I think like you could continue to struggle. Like, I'm not surprised to see punks at 40 ETH. I'm not surprised to see Bored Apes sit down at 12 or 13 ETH. Like, it does not surprise me to see that because everybody's distracted. In the meme coin cycle, we're probably still pretty early. I mean, I know we're in like a dead zone right now, but things feel like momentum's really, really hard to kill in any risky asset class. Really hard. I think it's a fool's game to start calling tops and meme coins. I think we're probably not close to the end of that cycle. In Bitcoin, and some of the bigger ones, I think it's still very early. Like I said, I think you could get like, we had a horrible CPI print this morning, as you probably saw, and the stock market's getting wrecked today. That's probably going to carry over to crypto at some point. I don't see a huge moves in things today, but that's probably going to carry over. So you could have a period here of slowdown where everybody's kind of reminded that things don't just go straight up every single day. But overall, I'm very, very bullish on the entire space. I think it's really hard to bet against a secular trend. Look how many wallets are out there. Like nobody, I mean, I think we all are trading with each other sometimes, or at least it felt like it, especially during the bear, but there's just not that many people here yet. So you're really fighting a secular trend by betting against a lot of what's out there. And I don't recommend doing it again, even though I'm doing it, some of it. I just think it's so early. There's just not that many people here yet. And it's interesting enough that it's going to continue, I think, growing secularly. So that's kind of how I feel right now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's thin. It's thin. And
something something I'll always remember is when I saw you in Denver in like February 2022 at ETH Denver, and Bats was like, for the first time in my life, I'd owned zero equities. Like I had like zero crypto, like nothing. And and literally it was literally the top of the market right before everything puked. And I remember thinking at the time,
I thought you meant now.
No. This is like, well, I just remember it because he was like so right, and I was like, oh, I don't really want to believe it because I don't want to sell any of my stuff. And then obviously everything it was it was a terrible year for crypto in the end. But I guess from what you're saying, you don't feel like we're too early to even for you to be in a position like that, or you may not even want to be in a position like that, because the bear cases that existed then are not the same as exist now.
Not yet. Look, if inflation continues to stay high and the Fed doesn't cut rates and we start, angling towards a recession, which a lot of people predicted last year, that didn't happen, things get a little dicey in risk assets. But again, like I feel like Bitcoin is in a really, and crypto in general could be in a really interesting spot, because it's actually, there's a good use case to own Bitcoin during a recession. There's a good use case to own Bitcoin given, if you look at like Raoul Paul tweeted out yesterday, I thought was really interesting, where we have inflation plus massive money supply growth. Like, this is not great for the economy, right? You're still growing the money. No wonder we haven't gone lower in terms of recessionary, forces taking over, because the money supply is still growing at like 8% a year. So I think it's really hard for me to see this all just falling to pieces anytime soon. So in answer to your question, I'm not uber bearish at all. In fact, I feel very kind of sanguine about the stock market and the economy in general. And I think that's actually a pretty good spot to be in if you're in crypto. That being said, things could change immediately. Like, I don't know if you read Jamie Dimon, who runs JP Morgan, he writes an annual, and he called this the most dangerous period in US history since World War II. Given all like,
he's kind of said that a couple times recently though.
Yeah, but you have these factors, like if what if Putin drops a nuke, or what if Iran drops a nuke, or it could change. Black swans are everywhere, I think, is his point, and things could change dramatically. And I don't live my life like that, but I'm just saying, like, if things stay the way they are now, I think it's a pretty good environment.
Yeah, I mean, even with CPI today, Bitcoin held up incredibly well.
Yeah, it had that dip this morning, and then it's kind of worked, clawed its way back.
It's definitely
it's impressive, isn't it?
What do the other 6529 boys think? Like, can you lift the lid slightly on like the brain trust over there? Like, how do you guys operate? Like, who's the most bullish? How do you guys look at things?
I'm definitely the dumbest member of 6529. Like, those guys are gods. They're so good. So like Barat and Noon, Fonro are like, they're so good. They are really good. Like, they get the technology. They put these things in our group chat, and I'm like the boomer who has to go to like, Investopedia to look up what they're talking about. And 6529 himself is like fantastic at this stuff. So, it is really good to speak with them, because I'm generally the biggest bear of the group, and I'm not even that bearish. And they are more bullish than I am, I would say, and they have been 100% right. So like, they are really, they are far ahead of me in this game in terms of like understanding new technologies and what's going on. So my hat's off to them.
Man, I mean, like, I think about it all the time. Maybe if I just was never bearish, I'd make more money.
I mean, it's the most left curve fucking market of all time. Like, I mean, it's just crazy. Like, the 2 weeks ago was the most left curve market I've ever seen in crypto. Like, it was like literally the dumbest things I've ever seen in my life. And I'm too much of like, I have too much like old school Web 2 in me to like send Machi $50,000. I just cannot bring myself to do it. It goes against everything I've ever believed in. So hats off to you if you made money, but that's never going to be.
I don't think anyone did on that one. They got smoked.
Well,
OSF, can we get a trade update, bro?
Yeah, our trades are doing well, actually. Let me share my screen again. Well, two of them are doing well. The longs are doing well. The one short, which is SHIB, is not doing well. So
wow, we're printing.
Yeah, we should have just like gone long everything, basically.
That's the kind of market, man.
Yeah. Good thing we didn't short BOEM. BOEM is our biggest winner. We would have been liquidated on BOEM by now. Have we?
Yeah, that was my fault.
Bats was right.
I didn't say go long BOEM. I just said like I like dark farms and he's doing cool shit. So
that was the thesis.
Man, I wish I aped into that. D sent it to us, and I ignored it.
It's like that every week. Right? There's a new thing every week. Like, I think you just can't have FOMO at the moment, because something just goes to. Like, Ansem's cat went to 100 million last week or 2 weeks ago, right? Like, There's just something each week. You just got to. It is that time where you just have to keep on reminding yourself that when someone someone puts something new in your chat and you're already kind of late to the person who put it into the chat and you kind of fade it, you should just never fade it. You should just never fade it. It's always like, oh yeah, but it's already up. I don't really want to buy that. And then it just does another 10x. So I think you just got to accept that your friends are probably going to show you some good trades.
Yeah, I learned this lesson in, I admit, I was short GameStop for many, many, many years before that rally and Wall Street Bets took over. And I got out early, thank God. And I watched it go higher. And, I know we're in this market where it says, everyone says, study this, study that. There's a lesson in this, there's a lesson in that. There actually was. And the lesson is like, don't fight the crowd. Like when the crowd starts like foaming at the mouth, like, okay, you don't have to buy it, but don't don't short it. Like, I mean, that is like, the crowd will win, especially around here. I mean, everybody here is retail. Everybody here is like, paying attention to Twitter, paying attention to Discord. I feel like, they have inside baseball on what's going on, and I don't. Like, I'm not stupid. I mean, I'm not going to get run over by a train.
You can't mid-curve, yeah.
Relentless.
I mean, you can't mid-curve.
Yeah, you cannot mid-curve.
You can't try to be too smart,
No.
Yeah,
absolutely not.
GameStop was a good short. It was a good short at one point, though. You just have to let it go.
Yeah.
Until it's
It's back at $10. I mean, I think the lesson here is that, again, like I said, I think a bunch of these meme coins are going back to zero, and GameStop is let me not say bad things about GameStop. GameStop has a challenging business model, shall we say, to be very nice. There was no way that stock was ever going to stick around $400, which I think was around the peak. And I feel that way about a lot of meme coins, and it's probably going to take months, if not years, for some of these to like go down significantly. And like I said, some of them will go to $20 billion, and most of them will probably go to zero.
Yikes!
It's dangerous as fuck to short, in most of these spots because it's so illiquid, and sometimes like nothing makes sense at all, and it just goes. So
feels like those meme stocks are coming back, right? Feels like there's this big trend in society right now that just people are just, I don't know. I keep on seeing this about China and the US that young people are just turning to gambling way and way more and away from everything else. Like media's come back as this new stock, right? And Reddit and all these other like meme stocks seem to be coming back. It does just feel as though, I don't know. I just think the age of gambling. I feel like it's like people are going to be peak gambling from here on.
Like if you go to the Donald Trump SPAC, like I think is like one of those. Like if you go onto a casino floor, who is having the most fun? Like for those, you guys have all been in a casino. Who's say that?
Craps players, maybe?
Exactly. The hot craps table are the people having the most fun consistently in any casino. And why is that? Because it's a social game. We're social animals, right? So like none of the surprises. Yeah, we call it gambling, but there's a social aspect to this that people just love. Like, I mean, the hot craps table is by far, even if you don't know how to play craps, everybody stops and looks to see what's going on, right? And I feel like that's a lot of what's going on here, right? You own whatever. Let's pick a random one, Pepe or a dog with hat. There's a community behind it. You're making money. People are having fun. People are tweeting out funny memes about it. Like it's
that
just
community
fun.
though. Oof. We saw them dancing the other day. That was questionable.
That was literally probably that was the night.
It's like those kids are millionaires.
Short meme coins.
It's like wow, fuck.
Yeah, that was a little. That was an interesting one. But yeah, that's my point. It's like we're just these meme coins, these meme stocks. It's way more than just short squeezes and kind of interesting like. Stocks, financial speculation. There's a lot under the surface. There's a big community here, like Wall Street Bets organized on Reddit, right? Like it's kind of a metaphor for a craps table.
Yeah,
fair. And they like sticking it to the man who's short and all that shit. So
yeah, I kind of love that aspect to it. I admire them for doing that. That was fun.
Yeah, I don't know how they hold long so far. I mean, good for them. They round trip most of them, but it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. It's like a lot of this stuff. Yeah, great, own it, have fun, but you better have a chair when the music stops, right? Because it's gonna stop.
Those GameStop guys, man. Yeah, they got they round trip so fucking hard. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's at $10, right? I mean,
up like 30 mil. No, we're just gonna hold.
Yeah, and there were tattoos, and there were there was all this sort of graveyard dancing on hedge funds and all that. That was all fun. Everybody was having a good time, but don't kid yourself. Like the end was fairly certain on where GameStop would end up. Now it's taken 3, 4, 5 years, but it's not like should be a big surprise to anyone.
Yeah, I agree. All right, well, I think we're like coming to the end of the show. We can kind of probably wrap up with the closing questions. Or the closing question, Bats, for you, which is, what's your best advice on how not to get wrecked?
On how not to get wrecked. Oh boy, best advice on how not to get wrecked. I think to do what I said earlier, just take whatever you do. You're here, you're in crypto. If you're listening to the show, you understand crypto. Like, don't look back 10 years from now and be like, oh, I lost all my money on meme coins because you didn't own Bitcoin or you didn't own Solana or you didn't own Ethereum. Like, put a little aside and pretend like it doesn't even exist. Don't trade it. Don't think about it. Just leave it alone. Be a participant in the crypto ecosystem and don't be the loser who like looks back 10 years from now and says, wow, I should have bought Amazon at $2 and you would have been a gazillionaire. Like, be a part of it. Like, yeah, trade the meme coins, have fun, but also like recognize that you're going to make a lot more money by being patient. I mean, I'll tell you a story real quick before we sign off.
Yeah,
there was this great study done by Fidelity, phenomenal, and they are like one of the largest, asset managers on planet Earth. And what they realized, the one trait that was consistent across all of their customers that made money, more money than anyone else. See if you can guess what it was. There was one defining characteristic across all of their customers of a certain group of people who consistently made more money than anyone else. So what was it?
Buy and hold, man. Buy and hold. Buy and hold.
It's close. So it was, when they called these people up, it was people who said to Fidelity, I don't have a Fidelity account. So what happened was they were bequeathed a Fidelity account, like as part of a death or something, or they opened it up through their employer and they kind of forgot about it or whatever. Like they didn't even know they had a fucking Fidelity account. And those people were consistently outperforming everyone else. So, as we say around here, there's a lesson in that. Study this.
The Bats, when the hell are you buying Epic? I think is the end of this goddamn question. I want to see you as the biggest holder by the end of this stream, man. We're gonna go against everything you just said on this stream, and you're gonna put it all into Epic.
Well, if there's a perps market out there, I'd consider shorting it, but I don't know about buying it.
Wow, it's perking up.
I'm kidding. Bad joke. I would never short anything that you had your name on, and maybe KBM as well.
Appreciate it. All right, how are the trades? And do we have another
KBM
code?
was the founder. KBM was the founder when it was at 25 million. He wasn't a founder when it was at 10 million.
Sounds like Elon Musk with PayPal.
All right. Well, Bats, thanks so much for coming on. It's awesome to have you on the show finally, and it's great to learn something from some of the older guys around here. So we very much appreciate it.
I really enjoyed it. Thank you guys for having me. I hope everyone else enjoyed it too.
Yeah, of course. We're gonna close out these prizes and stuff. So you're more than welcome to stick around. Also, don't let us hold you back if you want to crack on with the rest of your day as well.
What happens after this?
I don't really know. What am I supposed to do here, guys?
I'll stick around for a few more minutes. I'm
morbidly
curious to see what you guys come up with. So
how do we give this away?
We lost all our money last week. That's what actually happened. And
so do I close these trades now?
We close out the trades, and what we actually did, we put it all into the roller coaster, and then we tried to 2x it. So you could either do that, or you can just give it out as 3 prizes. It's your call.
All right, so let's close them.
Let's just give it out, yeah.
All right.
Well, the net win is $2,000, which is actually is that not a net loss given how much we had?
Well, they were free trades, so
true.
Yeah, free trades.
Yeah, but we had 3 $6,000 trades. And
all right, let's run the Twitter picker and do 700 to each person. I don't know.
Yeah, let's do that. So Rekt Intent, if you want to run the Twitter picker, And we'll be giving away $700 to each person who wins top 3, and we have to get them onto the space as well.
I guess so. Yeah, I'll be watching.
Okay.
I mean, we don't have to.
I feel like we
I don't
need to
know.
have riskier trades if we're going to do this. This
Yeah,
has happened
just
last
roller
time.
coaster.
Do we just roller coaster it and give the
Two
winners
Not
grand,
right now.
right?
one
Just
person?
give away the 700 to 3 people, and let's move on.
Okay. All right.
All right. Are we picking?
Yeah. Right. Denton, if you want to do the picks. Well, we just stare at each other awkwardly.
Is he coming through?
There we go.
I think let's just give them out rather than have them on stage because they're not doing the we're not doing spins, right?
Yeah, fine. Okay, so the winners are Justin, Steak Stinks, Ski,
Like that.
HSKY forever, and Pattern Up D are the 3 winners. So we'll send, if you guys want to DM the Rekt Radio account, we will send you the winnings, which are $700 each.
What were the second codes as well? They're asking in the chat.
Oh yeah. The second code is that was last episode. All right, here we go. Second code is Pixel Art 782. Pixel Art 782 is the second code.
Okay.
That's it.
All right.
Are we getting the winners, or did that happen?
We did the winners.
Yeah, we
so
just-
we'll just have to DM the Rekt Radio account, and then we'll send them the winnings from that.
All right. Good shit, Bats. It was fun.
Thanks,
Thank you
Bats.
guys for having me. Really appreciate it.
Have a good one.
All right.
Yeah, good to see you all.
You guys. Well, we didn't get to see you, but this is me and OSF that we're on camera here. So
Yeah, well, you don't want to see me. I haven't showered or cleaned up yet, so I'm kind of a mess.
Thanks for the insight there.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I smell great. I can tell you that.
All right. We'll catch you later. Good show, gents. Let's wrap it up. Intern.
All right.
Thank you all.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.